Hello? I think we're live. Let me just get this set up. What's up, Carlitos? Welcome in. Okay, I think I'm good. What's up, Hawkeye? Is the Gen 5 Pokeball challenge up yet? You're joking, right? I hope you're joking. I guess I'll start recording before I forget. Let me tweet out the stream. We're starting with trying to get Flabébé again. We're just gonna probably be doing that for most of the stream. You are? Okay, good. Good. I was gonna say, I'm like, you are severely uninformed if you're not joking. Hey, I've gotten crazier questions that were not jokes. Alright, so... going for Flabébé. How often do I stream? I've been streaming a lot more often lately, just because I don't really have any content on YouTube right now. Usually it's just like whenever I feel like it's usually like a few days a week, but more recently it's been almost every weekday, but not quite. So like, I guess a little more than usual. I'm pretty sure I'm using the repel. I mean, I would imagine I'm using the repel because I'm not getting an encounter every 2 steps. What's up, Hudon? You're watching through your Living Dex videos again, and when you get the notification for the Kalos Living Dex stream, nice. Yeah, I don't know if YouTube pushes notifications for streams. It probably is if you enable notifications for subscriptions, but that's like no different than like YouTube videos. But on Twitch, it's like I set up a notification, like a pre-typed thing I have to like write for. How long? Like how long am I gonna be streaming today? Like a few hours. What's up, Shadow Goku? Welcome in. What's up, Ghost Plays? You got your account back? Nice, congrats. Now we're definitely using the repel. So hopefully it doesn't take super long to get the white flower Flabébés, but we just need 2. I understand I can breed for them, but I just kind of want to get some encounters and see if I can get a shiny. So I am going to be going for like the 1% in the wild as opposed to breeding for them. I need to recheck this encounter rate though. Does it make the yellow flower less common? Probably. But is it like significantly less common? Oh, it does. It makes it like half the encounter rate. It makes everything the same encounter rate except for Krogunk and white Flabébé, and you can't get the orange Flabébé, which is a bit unfortunate, but it's okay. Did not know that. Imagine I get a full odd shiny right now. Kind of make up for the trash luck I've been getting with the actual shiny hunts I've been doing. So I think as of now, the encounter rate for the white versus the yellow flower is like 1 in 10. So if I get a Flabébé, it's like a 1 in 10 chance that it's white. Roughly. Maybe 1 in 11. As opposed to 1 in 30. So there's Flabébé number 2 for the day. What's up, Thor? Welcome to the stream. Thank you for the shiny luck. A shiny Spritzy would be really cool. Honestly, anything here would be pretty cool to get shiny. The worst one would low-key probably be Roselia. But even that wouldn't be bad at all. What's up, Agent Nevada? Welcome in. There's Flabébé number 3. 1 in 10-ish chance to get a white flower. I feel like these repels have been lasting a while. I knew it was gonna wear off right as I said that. Oh, there's a solid chance I have to shuffle this. Yeah, I do. Okay. They still have never fixed that bug with YouTube's playlist. It's wild. If you do shuffle all on a playlist, it'll randomly select the first one and then just go in that order from that first one. It won't actually shuffle it. You have to like shuffle it again in order to actually shuffle it. It's very strange. Man, it's like, should I just tackle the Pumpkaboo right after this just to get all the like tedious ones out of the way? I feel like I probably should. Flabébé number 4. I'll have to have my volume on for the Pumpkaboo so I know which one's the super size. Unless it's like super obvious without the volume, but it's super obvious with the volume. Maybe do breeding so you can hatch eggs while hunting tedious ones. Well, the only tedious ones are gonna be Pumpkaboo and Flabébé, so. So if I were to breed for them, there'd be no tedious ones. Like, I'm pretty sure Pumpkaboo and Flabébé are the only, like, less than 5% or, like, 4% encounters in Kalos, if I'm not mistaken. I can't think of any other ones that, like, off the top of my head that I'm like, oh, this is super rare. Oh, do fossils and starters. I already have the starters. I would need to do fossils, but those are gonna be fast. I should breed for the maybe after I get this Flabébé, because I already have like my repel going and whatnot. Maybe after the Flabébé, I will just like breed the fossils. Looks like we're probably gonna go over odds for this one. Flabébé number 6. And I have to get a Ditto still, but you can just catch Ditto. I just have to... Oh, I know where you can catch it. Never mind. I was like, I have to look it up. Flabébé number 7. What's up, Mariah? Welcome in. Duck. Pumpkaboos are hard to tell when they're in the boxes. I'll probably be able to figure it out. They're really easy to tell in home, so if it comes down to it, I'll be able to tell. You can tell in battle though, they're noticeably different. Hey, it's a bird. I have yet to see Articuno. I think I've seen the other two. I've seen Zapdos like 3 times. You're supposed to like do something and then you just do like static encounters for them, right? For the birds. I always forget how that works because they just flee immediately. What was that, number 8? Was that Flabébé 8 or 9? I don't know. 8. It's looking like we're gonna go over odds for this one. What's up, Pixel Nova? How's my day going? It's going alright. It was 8, okay. That's what I thought. There's 9. 1 in 10 or 11 chance. I guess I'll say it's 1 in 11. So if I go over, like, if I go 11, I'll be like, oh, we got it right at odds. Actually, I could just do the math and figure out what the odds are, right? And you have to see Zapdos 10 to 12 times before it goes into the cave. That would be very strange, but at the same time, that might be it. I don't remember how you encounter them. Like, they're shiny locked. I caught them in older games. I never really needed to worry about them. There's 10. One route 7. I'm gonna do this math right now. Oh, I'm in the wrong spot. I was like, why is this different? I am not in the flowers. I did the math wrong. It's 1 point. Oh, I'm going off of percentage. That's why. I mean, it's 10 times, so like 1 in 10. You save before attempting to catch legendaries? Just curious. Yeah. Because if I either fail to catch them, I lose them, or if they don't go away, it's just wasting a bunch of balls. So I always save in front of legendaries. Like, I mean, Ukes, if I didn't save in front of Uxie, we either would have just failed it, or I would have wasted 200 balls for nothing. We're definitely over odds for this thing. Pretty sure after 10 random encounters with the birds, they move to the cave where you static encounter them. Yeah, that makes sense. That's weird. It's a weird way to do it, but... What's up, Sanzy boy? Welcome in. What if I got a white flower Flabébé and it's shiny? That would be so crazy, but at the same time, I would have to find another 2 more, because I'm not, obviously shinies don't count for this. You started X last night, coincidentally never played Kalos before. Nice. It's, my honest review of Kalos, it's alright. If you're like me and not like a big fan, like for example, I had to play through X and Y, not because like, oh, I've never played them before, because I have played them before. But, I just needed to play through them to like get this set up so I could like get all the Pokemon. And I'm not a fan of like replaying Pokemon games. Like, it's not really enjoyable. I only really enjoy Pokemon games the first playthrough where like I don't know what's gonna happen and I don't know what the Pokemon look like. And what I will say about X and Y that's nice is that they're very easy. So it's you have to do a little bit of grinding to set up it, making it really easy. Like, for example, you need to interact with your Pokemon in the Poke-A-Me thing until they get boosted experience from battles. And that can take a while, but once you get it, it's like you can just go through everything so quickly. You don't like the 8 directional movement already? I like using the circle pad, but they force you to use the roller skates on the circle pad once you get them, and that gets kind of old. The roller skates are good, but they're kind of like weird to control, so they just don't feel right when you're like trying to go through certain areas. What's up, Atem? Welcome in. Okay, it's like a 1 in 10 chance if we get a Flabébé, it's a white flower, and this is like our 13th or 14th yellow flower. Like, what the heck, man? What are we doing? What if I get Pokérus from this? I would actually not be happy about that. I'd rather just get a shiny. Speaking of which, I should check. I don't think I've ever checked my Pokemon. The Smeargle is already going to have Pokérus, but it's not going to be able to be spread. Oh my gosh, I did get it. No way. I mean, this Arceus is from Gen 6. If it had Pokérus from before, it would have been cured. Bruh. And then this one's cured. This was from Gen 3. I already had Pokérus on that one. What the heck, man? I don't think there's anything in my PC that would, like, spread Pokérus. I guess I'll save. I'll wait till this repel wears off, and then I'll save. What the heck, man? I would have just preferred a shiny. To be fair, like, that could have happened yesterday, and I just didn't notice. Like, I never checked them, but it would have been either... I mean, the Flabébé has it, so it would have been either yesterday or today after doing the repel trick. What the heck, man? I don't need Pokérus. I think I already have a Pokemon in the PC that has, like, Pokérus that I can spread. I think it's a Sudowoodo from Gen... I think it's from Heart Gold Soul Silver, actually. Dude, that's a 1 in 21,000 chance, and I'm just like, yep, I haven't found a single shiny in any of these playthroughs. To be fair, I also didn't find Pokérus in any of the playthroughs. This is the first time. You got Pokérus in Heart Gold Soul Silver? Yeah, I actually... My first ever playthrough of Heart Gold Soul Silver, I got Pokérus, because, like, Professor Elm calls you when you get it to, like, let you know about it. And because of that, I got it, like, super early on. It had to have been one of the first encounters I had gotten had Pokérus. Because it was, like, on the way to the first town, I get a call from Professor Elm, or, like, to the second town or something. Professor Elm called me about Pokérus, and I was like, why is he telling me about Pokérus? And then I looked at my party, and I got it. And I thought it was like a fixed thing, like, oh, in Heart Gold Soul Silver, you get Pokérus like at this point in the game, because, and no, I just got stupid lucky with it, and I didn't realize that. I've gotten Pokérus in like almost every generation now. Not Gen 2, but I got it in Gen 3 during the Torkoal hunt multiple times. All your luck went to Pokérus in Gen 6 rather than Litwick or Mew, or just a shiny in general. First time touching the games was Alpha Sapphire, but it was just a rental and you didn't know how to start over a save file. Your first proper game was Moon and you eventually completed Pokedex. Nice. Yes, Sun and Moon. Oh, actually, let me apply the repel and then save, because I don't know if I got this today or yesterday, so if I were to like reset over these repels to like save them, there's a chance I lose Pokérus, so I'm not gonna risk it. Not that it really matters, I can spread it to any of my Pokemon anyway. Yeah, I've gotten so the first game I got Pokérus in was, I think it was Soul Silver. It was like my first playthrough of Soul Silver, and I got it super early on. I got it in one of my Platinum playthroughs super early on as well. Like, I was playing through Platinum to set up something, and, I, on a whim, like, it was either right before or right after the second gym, I just checked my party, and they all had Pokérus cured. And I was like, apparently I got Pokérus at some point, and didn't think to look at my party, and they already got cured, so I couldn't spread it. I totally spit on my screen right there, don't mind that. But, and then I got it in Gen 3 on my Ruby copy. When I was doing the Torkoal hunt, I got Pokérus twice on my Ruby copy. Twice on the same copy during that one hunt. Just because I faced so many times. And I was probably due for it. I was well overdue. The thing is, the other save files probably had encountered Pokérus, because I think overall it was like 128,000 encounters to get Torkoal from that hunt. And all the other copies had like Pokemon that had cured Pokérus, so there was no way I would have been able to check. But Ruby, I didn't have Pokérus at all, and then I got it, and then deposited the Pokemon that got it in the PC, and then I ended up getting it again. And I want to say maybe at some point in like Gen 7 I got Pokérus, and I just got it now, so... Only a handful of times, but it's hard to like determine it, because if you have like cured Pokérus, like you could still encounter it, you'll just never know. And that's like most of my games. I just have like Pokemon with Pokérus that's been cured. Only time you ever got Pokérus was on a Morpeko and Shield. I don't think I ever got Pokérus in Gen 8. I'm not sure about that, though. What are we looking for? We're looking for Flabébé. White Flower. What shinies have you got? Which ones do you need, and what are you hunting at the moment? So I'm not hunting for shinies. I'm trying to just find a White Flower Flabébé. Or two of them, actually. We're going for a full Gen 6 Living Dex, hence the title of the stream. In terms of shinies I got, I can't list them all to you. It's like over 100. Someone asked, roughly out of every, like, Pokemon that I have obtained full odd shiny, out of every possible Pokemon you could get shiny, like form difference, gender difference, species, whatever, I probably roughly have 120. Unique Pokemon shiny. I have some duplicates. I have some boosted. I have a lot of boosted odd shinies too, but I don't really count those. Save a Pokemon with active Pokérus and PCs you can spread it. No, I already have one. That's why I didn't just. I mean, I probably will like put one in, but I should have one. It's either in this or in my Ultra Moon. If I don't have one in this, then I will do that. But I think I have a Sudowoodo in here, or a Togepi. Sudowoodo. Yeah, this Sudowoodo is from, I'm pretty sure it's from Heart Gold Soul Silver. Yeah. So this was from my Heart Gold Soul Silver. I got it on Togepi. Togepi I sent up to a later game. So yeah, I don't need to send it to PC. This is the one that keeps it for Gen 6. So yeah, we don't have to deposit a Pokemon in the PC. We already got one. But yeah, like I got Pokérus in like Soul Silver, and then I spread it to a few Pokemon, and then I learned that if you have them in the PC, they keep it spreadable. So I spread it to a few Pokemon to keep in PCs, and then transfer them across generations, so I could just have Pokérus in like every generation. Make fun of you all you want, but you have trouble with the older games. You haven't made it past Cerulean, Gym, and Fire Red. If you start with Bulbasaur, it's really easy. Bulbasaur is by far the best starter in Gen 1 for, like, usefulness. What's up, Princess? Welcome in. Just caught a shiny Budew with a timid nature. Nice, congrats. It's spread on Pokemon Home. No, a Pokemon Home is considered a PC. So if you put a Pokemon with Pokérus in Home, it'll just keep Pokérus and it won't spread it, but it'll keep it active. But as soon as it's only Pokemon in your party it can spread to. But if you have Pokemon with Pokérus in your party, after like a certain amount of time, they will get cured. And they'll still have Pokérus. Like, the effects still work for them. They just can't spread it anymore. What's up, Spiky or Pichu? Welcome in. Kintsugi, I am doing a repel trick to make it almost 2%, so we're still getting pretty unlucky though. It's like a 1 in 10 chance per Flabébé that one of them's white, and we've gotten like 14 or 15 yellow flowers now. See, like there's no yellow flower. You're surprised when they took Pokérus out of Scarlet and Violet? I wasn't. I'm disappointed, yes, but like they took a lot of features out of Scarlet and Violet. They really made Scarlet and Violet like really not interesting games. I don't get why they did. I understand they made the braces better, but like Pokérus was such a cool thing. Also, I think the main reason they took out my theory on why they took out Pokérus is because the main way most people get Pokérus, again, it's just another mechanic in Pokemon that is not it doesn't translate well in an overworld game like Scarlet and Violet or like Legends Arceus. And the reason for that is because in a game like with traditional encounters, you have to encounter Pokemon one at a time. Pardon that. Just hit the cord on my camera. You have to encounter Pokemon one at a time. And in a game like Scarlet and Violet, a lot of the times people find Pokérus when they're shiny hunting, because obviously you're just getting encounter after encounter. But in a game like Scarlet and Violet, when you see shinies in the overworld, you don't have to encounter them. So even if Pokérus existed in Scarlet and Violet, you would just never find it. Because you would have to like encounter the Pokemon, and there's no reason to encounter Pokemon in an overworld game unless they're shiny, and that would be like you essentially have to get Pokérus on a shiny, which is just very improbable of happening. What's up, Poseidon? Welcome in. So yeah, that's my theory as to why they removed it. I would assume if they go back to traditional encounters, they will bring it back. But it's another one of the many mechanics that Pokemon has that does not work in an overworld game, which is why one of the main reasons why I don't like overworld Pokemon is like, a lot of those cool and unique features just get removed or changed for the worse to work with that mechanic, and it's not as engaging, it's not as fun for me. Thoughts on Legends ZA? I mean, like, really quick thoughts is I'm shocked we're getting another Legends game so soon. I think it's weird that they went from Legends to Gen 9 to Legends again. But out of the Legends games we were to get, I was very happy it was a Kalos one, because that's what I wanted the most. But I'm still disappointed we're not getting like a traditional Pokemon game. You're like 20 Pokemon away from finishing your national dex in ORAS. Nice, congrats. Before I restarted the save file, I had like I think I almost had a full national dex. But I'm not even close on Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire. Because Y was like my main Gen 6 game. Even though I got Alpha Sapphire first. You didn't know they removed Pokérus? Well, if they didn't, you still would never encounter it, because you would have to actually encounter each Pokemon one at a time to have a good chance at getting it. It just doesn't work in a game like Scarlet and Violet. It's lame that they, like, made it so that you can't spread it to Pokemon still, though. Like, if you brought a Pokemon in with Pokérus. I'm pretty sure Krogunk is a lot less common than the other stuff. I feel like we've been encountering it a lot. Oh no, Krogunk's... Oh, I'm in the wrong spot again. Yeah, Krogunk's like half the encounter rate of everything else. We should be seeing a white flower Flabébé for like every 5 Krogunk we see, and that's definitely not happening. What if a Pokemon game took place fully in space or other planets? It's probably ridiculous because there's a lot of potential unique game times. Yeah, I don't know if I don't think they'd ever do that. I mean, I feel like the most we got was like the Delta episode in Omega Ruby Alpha Sapphire, and the Ultra Wormholes was like the closest we'd get to like being in another dimension or outer space or something. It just wouldn't work in like the overall context of like Pokemon. It's already kind of like weird that we're just getting like Hisuian Pokemon in Scarlet and Violet and stuff, when like those technically shouldn't exist and haven't existed for years. You know? Like as soon as you like are like, oh, all these Pokemon are from a different planet, it's like, well then how are we expected to have them in a future game that's not in a different planet, you know? We need more goofy dragons like Goodra and Dragonite. Yeah, I like Goodra and Dragonite. It's weird that Goodra has a regional variant. You realize you messed up earlier? You spent like the last 2 weeks going for a honey tree munchlax on the wrong trees. Wait, so you already knew what your munchlax trees were and you were just doing the wrong ones? Because usually what you should do is just put honey on everything, and then once you find a munchlax, you'll know that's a munchlax tree. Or sometimes it's like if you find Heracross on a tree, that tree's more likely to be a munchlax tree, because Heracross is like a lot more common on munchlax trees. Stuff like that. Think they'll ever make a new type? So according to Game Freak, they are open to making new types, but I don't think we'll get one anytime soon. It'd be too hard to balance right now. They've said in like an interview that they like design typings to be like indefinitely like added onto. And they said like they could at any point maybe make a new type, but like in an actual like game development perspective, it'd be so difficult to just throw in a new type all of a sudden. They'd have to be like years of planning, so it wouldn't be like completely broken. Because it would completely change everything about like what's good and not good in Pokemon. So the same thing as Sui, forms should have been locked to Legends, would have made it way more extinct feeling. That makes sense. I don't like the idea of Pokemon being locked to only one specific game, but it did feel a little too soon to just start bringing in like wild Voltorbs and like have like Perrin with just a Hisuian Growlithe and stuff like that. Like it made more sense in the sense of like they distributed Hisuian Zoroark, or like you brought them in from home. Like that made more sense than just like all of a sudden, oh, Hisuian Voltorb just in Scarlet and Violet now. You would love a space type, then change some existing mons such as Starmie. They probably wouldn't change Starmie. Starmie's a starfish, not an actual star. When they added the fairy type, they either added it to Pokemon or they changed the Pokemon's main type to fairy. They never, if a Pokemon was a dual type, they didn't change one of the types to be fairy. It's the main reason why Celebi's not a fairy type. Like, Celebi is like the quintessential design you would think of for a fairy, but it's psychic type. That's just because it already had a dual typing. Other Pokemon like Clefairy was just a normal type, so they could just change that to fairy type. Or Jigglypuff was just a normal type, so they added the fairy type to it. Cottony was just a grass type, so they added fairy type to it. They didn't have any dual type Pokemon that one of the types changed to fairy. Starmie line is from space, at least that's what I heard. Are you sure you're not thinking of Clefairy? Clefairy is from space. I mean, you could be right. I don't really do much research on Starmie. Use the Munchlax tree calculator to find 2 of your trees, messed up and kept checking the wrong ones. I didn't know there was a calculator for finding your trees. I know where a Munchlax tree is on my main Platinum file. When I first got back into the series, I rebought Platinum, and I was like, well, I gotta put honey on trees. And the first tree I put honey on gave me a Munchlax, and I thought it was like, oh, I didn't realize that Munchlax was 1% from a Munchlax tree. I thought it was just, if you found a Munchlax tree, Munchlax is most likely gonna show up on it. So yeah, I didn't realize how crazy rare it was for my first tree to put honey on giving me a Munchlax. Togekiss is flying normal. So I think the reason for that, it is normal type, so that makes sense in a way. That's probably, Togetic and Togekiss are probably the only ones. But I think the reason for that is because Togepi was pure normal, so that's probably the only exception, right? And it's because Togepi was pure normal, and they changed that to fairy, so they just changed the normal typing to fairy. But yeah, that's probably the only exception in that. Everything else was either like everything else was like a single type that either got their single type completely changed or added fairy to the type. You can find 2 of your Munchlax trees with your trainer ID, and if you know your secret ID, you can get the other 2. Interesting. I'll have to look into that, because at some point I would like to do that Munchlax hunt. It'd be nice to have like a few games to just go for the trees. If Legends ZA is based in the future rather than the past, do you think they'd make all the basic Pokeballs futuristic? No. Pokeballs are already like a futuristic kind of like device. I don't think they're going to redesign Pokeballs to make them futuristic. Do you have any interest in other monster catchers like Yokai Watch or Digimon? No. I used to have a Digimon game when I was young for GameCube, but it wasn't a monster catcher game. It was like a hack and slash, and it was really fun. But no, I've never been interested in any other like like monster collecting games. It just feels like a lot of the I know they're like different and they have like a lot of different stuff to them, but to me it just feels like Pokemon, but not as intriguing to me. Hope not, you don't want any more Strange Balls. I think the Strange Ball's cool, but I think it's weird that they still exist in Scarlet and Violet. It made sense when bringing a Pokemon from Hisui to an older Pokemon game. Like, that makes so much sense. And vice versa, bring a Pokemon in a modern ball to Hisui. But it's weird that we don't just have the Hisui Pokeballs in Scarlet and Violet. That's like a completely, like, newer game, newer gen, you know? Like, I don't get that. On the same patch grass we found shiny Ducklet a decade ago. Nice. Yeah, I haven't found any shinies. Ducklet would be cool. Anything here would be pretty cool to find shiny. Dude, part of me is like, do I just like bring open like 2 games or something? Start going crazy. Okay, there we go. There's a white flower. That took way too long. Oh my gosh. Hopefully the next one is like nowhere near as long. That was ridiculous. This is like almost a 2%. Like, it's like a 1 in like 60 so chance. It should not have taken us 40 minutes to find this. Like, watch this thing somehow have like a recoil move or something. What's up, Maltz Memer? Welcome in. It's 1%. Yeah, you failed to realize that I'm aware of that and I'm doing a repel trick. Guys, I'm aware that Pokemon don't just naturally have a 1.78% chance to appear. Like, who do you guys think you're talking to? Come on. Yep, still trying to catch White Flower Flabébé. Imagine I just get a back-to-back one. That'd be nuts. Yokai Watch was a very different experience from Pokemon. You can tell you that much. You'd recommend it, but also tedious at times and overwhelming with all the content stuffed in each game. Yeah, I've heard they're really good. Didn't that series fail, though? Isn't that series, like, done? I don't know. It's not just about, like, Pokemon. Because obviously I understand that other monster collection games are like really well made and like have like their own mechanics and are completely unique. But the issue for me is that it's just not really a genre I'm interested outside of Pokemon, you know? Like, if I'm gonna play something other than Pokemon, it's gonna be a completely different game, not another monster collector game. Why don't I breed it? Because I want to have an actual chance at finding a shiny while doing this, considering I've played through 6 generations of Pokemon and haven't found a single shiny yet. So we're just gonna find the 1% in the wild. And yeah, that was my second one. I need one more. Hopefully we get it under odds. Also, if anyone's new in the stream right now, we found Pokérus before not only a shiny, but before a White Flower Flabébé. Here, I'll actually save now when we're on a new repel, in case this takes like a year to get. No, I've not gotten Shiny Mew. It's wild how many people have been asking me about that. You guys would know if I got Shiny Mew. I would have either tweeted about it, posted it as a highlight on Twitch, or probably have a video of it on YouTube by now. forgot Pokérus is a thing? It's because they removed it from Scarlet and Violet and Legends Arceus. Lucky to have found Pokérus, unlucky. I don't see it as lucky at all. I see it as super unlucky because I don't even need Pokérus in this game. I have Pokérus in, like, I've gotten Pokérus in every generation except Gen 2. And if I haven't gotten Pokérus in a generation, I already have a Pokemon that has active Pokérus that I can just use in that generation to spread it. Like, I already have a Sudowoodo in the PC that had Pokérus before getting it in this. I would have just much rather had found a shiny. Like, I jokingly said, it's gonna suck when I find Pokérus before a shiny, and then because I said that, I was like, let me check, and I had Pokérus. So, I don't really see it as lucky. I see it as the universe is just doing everything in its power to prevent me from finding a shiny. Zapdos is back. How do you get Pokérus? It's just random chance on Pokemon. But it's like significantly rarer than a shiny. It's about 6 times the odds of... You're about 6 times as likely to find a shiny than Pokérus in Gen 6 and up. In Gen 5 and lower, you are 3 times likely to find a shiny. So yeah, a shiny would have been a lot cooler. But Pokérus is just, like, generated on wild Pokemon randomly, 1 in 21,000 chance. And when you enter a battle with a Pokemon, if it has Pokérus, it'll spread it to the first Pokemon in your party. So there's no way to, like, tell you, like, a Pokemon has it unless you catch the Pokemon and it has it, or you complete a battle or, like, run from a Pokemon and then your party Pokemon has it. It's not like a visual thing. We are shiny hunters. Of course, we all found Pokérus in all of our games. Yeah, true. During the Torkoal hunt, I was saying this earlier. When I was hunting for Torkoal, I got Pokérus twice in my Ruby copy during that one hunt. And I probably had encountered it more times, but all my other save files had, like, cured Pokemon, so they couldn't get it. So there was no way I would have been able to know if I got it. But I mean, I did over 120,000 encounters for that Torkoal. And yeah, the Ruby copy got it twice, because I got Pokérus, and then whatever Pokemon had it, I put in the PC. And then I got it again. The only Switch game you've played is Arceus. You want to pick up Shield eventually, but you're not really interested in Scarlet and Violet. Is it worth playing? In my opinion, no. If you only play Pokemon games for the story, then yes. If you play Pokemon games for literally any other reason, then no. I think Scarlet and Violet is one of the worst games in the series, but the story was better than most other Pokemon games. It's crazy. I've been streaming for 47 minutes. I've only caught 1 new Pokemon. Also, I did miscount my Pokemon yesterday. I was like, I think I had 93. I was at 96. Once we get these 1% out of the way, we will we'll be flying by. It's not looking good for getting this Flabébé under odds. Nick, it looks like you forgot the rest of your comment. Come on, Flabébé. Sorry you took it. You're bad. What, you took the rest of Nick's comment? It would be really crazy to find a shiny before Scarlet and Violet. The thing is, when I do the Gen 9 Living Dex, I'm just gonna find a shiny, and it's not even gonna be exciting. I get Pokemon like Togekiss from Johto or Sinnoh? From Johto. So if a Pokemon evolves in a later gen, we get it from the earliest gen. So in this case, I can't show it off now, but I have an Eevee from Red, Blue, and Yellow. Like, I think it's from Red version that I'm gonna evolve into Sylveon. There are more 1% Pokemon need. Yeah, supersized Pumpkaboo. I need 2 of them. Those are the only ones I can think of off the top of my head that I know are like 1%. So every stream there is a mention of Gen 9 shiny hunting being awful. In my stream, it's because I just hate it so much. But it's usually brought up in a way. Like when people ask me my opinions on Scarlet and Violet, or like, in this case, if you should get it. I just want to get a shiny in like a traditional encounter game. I was disappointed I didn't get one in like black and white because of like the double encounters and stuff. Also, playing through Emerald 4 times, it was kind of like, wow, it's crazy I haven't gotten one. Come on, Flabébé, why don't you have a white flower? Find your childhood Game Boy Advance and SP today, but not your Pokemon GBA Gen 3 games. That sucks. Yeah, people come to the Full Odds Center to ask about hunting with boosted Overworld odds. No, that's not really it. I don't even have an issue with like boosted odds hunting. I just think it's just the Overworld encounters in Scarlet and Violet are just so not exciting. Like, again, before Scarlet and Violet came out, I was well in with, like, boosted odds hunting. And, like, the reason why I'm just, like, I would have liked to find a shiny in, like, one of these games, but I'm expecting to find not only one shiny, but multiple shinies while playing through Scarlet and Violet to, like, get that Living Dex. Like, I'm expecting to get multiple shinies in that game when it's very expected anyway. Like, it'd be cool to find a shiny when it's not expected, when shinies are, like, actually rare to start. Hope you get a shiny white flower. I really doubt that'd happen. It'd be very bittersweet. Like, it'd be awesome. It'd be more sweet than bitter, though. That's for sure. It'd be, like, so crazy to get. But I would have to find another non-shiny one for the Living Dex. Full stream dedicated to one Flabébé color. It's Uxie all over again. Yeah, but it's not going to take us 200 plus encounters to get Flabébé. It's also not going to be hard to catch, so. And it's not going to be a whole stream. Like, we'll get it soon. It's like a 1 in 60 chance to find. I think the only natural shiny I've gotten in traditional games was a Zigzagoon and Poochyena. Funny enough, the shiny Poochyena looks like your original character on sheer coincidence. Nice. When I wasn't doing this Living Dex challenge, like, I found random shinies. Like, when I got back into the series and started shiny hunting, it was like my shiny luck for hunts were really bad, but I would just left and right find random shinies when I wasn't hunting, you know? So it's probably just my luck is balancing out, because I used to have really good random shiny luck, and now I don't. You got so lucky doing the Gen 5 Living Home Dex. You got shiny Terrakion? That's insane. Did you had to get another one, though, right? Because of that? Because obviously, like, I'm not counting shinies for my home living dex, because there'll be a shiny living dex that's separate, you know? So that was like, that's like crazy, but I'm guessing you had to play through the game again, right? It'd be so, like, it's crazy enough finding a random shiny in a game. I can't imagine finding a random shiny of a one-time only Pokemon, like a legendary or your starter. Like, there's so many people that will just start their game up with a shiny starter, and like they weren't hunting it or anything. Like, that'd be so crazy. Or like, imagine going to like Cerulean Cave in like Fire Red Leaf Green or like Heart Gold Soul Silver, and you just to catch Mewtwo and Mewtwo shiny. Like, how crazy would that be? On Scarlet and Violet, you see 15 mons at once. If you walk, they keep respawning. Older games, if you walk for some seconds, you'll have one encounter. You like Scarlet and Violet, but you understand you, yeah. And like, I think Legends Arceus did the Overworld thing better. I still think it needs to be tweaked a little bit to make shiny still feel like really exciting to find. But no matter what they do with Overworld encounters, I still think it's going to be so much better if they stick to traditional encounters. There's not, even like shinies aside, there's so many more unique and interesting mechanics you can do with traditional encounters versus Overworld encounters. Can you rename the traded Mr. Mime from in Gen 1 in newer games? No, you can't. If a Pokemon is nicknamed, you cannot rename it. What I did to counteract that is I caught a Mr. Mime in Johto. Well, it was in Kanto, but it was in Gen 2, and then sent it into Gen 1, and then sent it up. But I have a video on that on my Gen 2 Living Dex video. There was issues with that, with like the name as well, so I had to like discuss that. It'd be exciting if your Scarlet and Violet shiny ended up being Tandemaus, though. I mean, if it evolved into a family of 3, yeah. Evolved into a family of 4, I'd been like, whatever. Not a shiny Rowlet starter and Sun in 5 resets, but you were just going for a nature. That's crazy. Yeah, I saw like one tweet of someone, it was like when Sun and Moon first came out. Someone was like, so I just got Sun and Moon, and this was my starter, and it was just a shiny Rowlet. Like, they weren't hunting it, they weren't planning on getting a shiny, they just picked up a shiny on the first try. One of the few random shinies you found before you started hunting. I, like, never found random shinies until I started hunting. Then I started finding a bunch of random shinies. Pretty sure the only random shinies I found before I started shiny hunting was the Bidoof that I don't have anymore as a kid, and then when I got back in, it was the Rattata I failed. I don't think I found any other random shinies until post me starting the shiny hunt. Still counts me as in Kanto after all. Yeah, but if you catch a Pokemon in the Kanto region in Johto and send it up, it's still gonna say it's caught from the Johto region. The regions based on like where you found the Pokemon in their summary is not based on the region they're caught in. It's based on the game they're caught in. But there's a quirk with the Virtual Console. It goes off of whatever game they were sent up from. So if you catch a Gen 1 Pokemon in Gen 2 and then send it into Gen 1 before setting it up, it'll just say it's from Gen 1, which is what I did. Like my Gen 1 shiny Dratini I have, it says it's from Gen 2 because I sent it into Gen 2 to show off that it was shiny and then sent it up, which I kind of regret, but I still know it's from Gen 1. You had to use the Terrakion from the other game. You needed to beat both Black. Oh, true. Yeah, okay, so that's still pretty cool. Like, you didn't have to really like go too far out of your way to make up for it, and you got a random shiny legendary. No sounds on shiny and Scarlet and Violet feel that it sucks because some more mons are really hard to see and shiny not. Yeah, but even with like the shiny sparkle being in Sword and Shield or like in Scarlet and Violet, if they were to do that, like. Guys, there would be no issues with this shiny's hard to see if they were just traditional encounters. That would never be an issue. There'd never be an issue of I can't see the shiny. Shinies can be subtle, yes, but they always sparkle in their encounters if they're shiny. Like, you don't have to worry about you can't see the shiny, and it will show up a lot closer and bigger on the screen anyway. So it not only would be, with traditional encounters, be way easier to see, but they would also sparkle, and so even if you couldn't tell if it was like a subtle shiny, you still would be able to tell. Like that whole issue of I can't see the shiny's hard to tell, Pokemon are too small, that's only a product of overworld encounters, you know? Like, it causes more issues than like nice quality of life features. All Gen 1 Mons are all caps and home. No. Once the Pokemon get sent into like Gen 5, it auto-adjusts their names unless they're like renamed. But there was an issue with Mr. Mime because there's like a period and a space in its name, and I guess that just caused some glitchiness. I also didn't take the chance with Ho-Oh, and I named Ho-Oh with proper caps because I didn't know if the hyphen in space would like cause any issues, so. You have since Shiny Mankey caught in red all the way to Violet to make it Annihilate. That's pretty cool. I kind of want to find a Shiny Mankey in Gen 3 and evolve it into Annihilate. I have the rest of the line. I have Mankey and Primeape in Gen 3. What's up, Sfeel? Welcome in. Be better quality, not low poly. Yeah, that's another thing, is like, that's more of a Scarlet and Violet issue because there was no low poly issues with Legend Arceus, but I mean, again, it wouldn't be an issue at all in traditional encounters. The low poly crap. Can't get a good screenshot of your shiny because it's just, it renders in low poly before, because there's too much going on in the game. Yeah, like, visually, the traditional encounters look significantly better. There's more you can do with them. There's more mechanics you can, like, create with them. And you don't have to worry about being colorblind or just having a hard time seeing a subtle shiny. Like, there's just... Like, again, like, there was that one person in chat, which... no hate to them. Like, they were really respectful, and we just... It was a respectful argument. Like, it wasn't, like, out of hatred or anything. It was one of the most civilized arguments I've ever had, which was awesome. So, like, shout out to them. But they were saying that they preferred overworld encounters, and their main reason was just because, like, they find it more exploratory. When I was saying, like, what reason, if you prefer overworld over traditional encounters, what is the reason besides it's more realistic and shinies are easier? You know, like, in my opinion, there's just so many pros to traditional encounters that outweigh the two insignificant pros of the overworld encounters. You know? When you're dreading most of you is Gen 1 because of all the gender guesses in 8F, Mew, and so on. Yeah, and Gen 1 is the largest generation if you include the gender differences and form changes. It was definitely a difficult one. But with like the Bulbasaur, like on the video I have like the Bulbasaur, and same with Eevee. I didn't mention Eevee, but it was the same process. The Pokemon that you need gender differences for that are like a 1 in 8 chance, you can tell based on their attack stat. So if you like use like a DV calculator or whatever, you can see like if their attack stat is like 0, I think. You can tell if they're female. Because it can be like 0 or 1, but 1 could all, like, at the levels you get them at, could mean like other stats, and you wouldn't want to risk it. How rare is the white flower? It is not as rare as it is in this game. Like, we should have gotten all of them faster than we got any of them. Like, this is definitely not under odds. We're definitely over odds for this one as well. You renamed your Mr. Mime to a banned word so Bank would rename it to the current naming system. Oh, does it just auto name it? That's interesting. That's a cool way around it. I never thought about that. I just named it Mr. Mime with like the proper capitals and spaces. It's easier to skip unnecessary wild encounters that you can't do with traditional grass. Yeah, it's called repels. Like, Repels are cool. Not only are repels cool, but they allow you to like also like you can use repels to avoid all encounters, which is awesome. Can't do that in Scarlet and Violet because Scarlet and Violet you'll be running and then a random small Pokemon you can't see will spawn right in front of you. So it's honestly more annoying in a game like Scarlet and Violet. It's better in Legends Arceus because running into the Pokemon doesn't encounter them. So like I'll give you that. Like that's better. But yeah, repels exist, and not only do repels exist to repel out Pokemon, but they also allow a different mechanic called repel tricking, which is what I'm currently doing for this Flabébé, to kind of try to force certain encounters a different way, as opposed to just making a sandwich and having all of one type spawn. Like, it's just more in-depth, and it's just more interesting. You don't have to endlessly encounter multiple Pokemon to find the one you want for your team. That just sounds like you are very impatient. I like the idea of when you go to a new route, you don't know what you're gonna encounter. Like you're like, all right. Even in Sword and Shield, where they had overworld encounters, it was like there were some overworld encounters that you could see, but then there were hidden grass encounters that were like, you'd like, all right, let's do a couple encounters, see if there's anything interesting in here. And every person's experience is different because some Pokemon are like rare. In Scarlet and Violet, nothing's rare. Like, you see everything right in front of you, and nothing is interesting. Like, if there's no wonder, there's no like sense of like you don't know what's gonna happen, you know? Yeah, I'm trying to get each Pokemon from its earliest gen possible. But I will say, Sfeel, if they were to keep overworld encounters, if they just did it like Sword and Shield, that'd be totally fine. But I feel like in the context of Sword and Shield, it would make sense to still have that hybrid what they did with like traditional grass and overworld. But yeah, they just don't need to have shinies show up in the overworld. It just makes them so like not interesting and not rare. And it also allows you to have more unique methods, as opposed to just temporarily boost your shiny odds or temporarily or permanently boost your shiny odds, or just go to this area that has higher shiny odds. Like, shiny hunting methods are terrible in Legends and Scarlet and Violet. There's no depth to them. There's no like, not even challenge, but just like it's just brain dead. Like, there's just nothing you do. You just go to one spot and your shiny odds are increased, you know? Does Mom with the band name still have the original trainer name if the bank renamed it? I would assume so. They're not just deleting the Pokemon and making a new one. Repels waste money that could be used for other reasons like Pokeballs, healing items, etc. I don't know if you've ever played a Pokemon game ever, but you get plenty of money in order to buy way more than enough of anything you need. I literally bought like 50 max repels, which I've only used a handful of them. And the only reason I'm using a decent amount is because I'm doing this repel trick. But yeah, I bought like 40 repels and was still able to buy like 300 Pokeballs and then like 50 full restores and like 50 revives and like 50 max potions, whatever. So like that argument's kind of just invalid, that it wastes money, because you'll have plenty enough money to buy repels regardless. But I will say, in your favor, if they do go back, they need to make it more early game. It is annoying that you can't even buy repels until like the third town usually. I will say that. But that'd be like a really simple fix. Yeah, the Sylveon will be from a Gen 1 Eevee. Like any evolution, like we're gonna get 3-segment to Dunsparce from Gen 2. You prefer overworld encounters for these reasons? You just took you like 7 sandwiches to find a shiny male Litleo. Like, they are still tough hunts. I just disagree on that. But here's another thing for like my argument. It took you 7 sandwiches to find a male Litleo because it's still and your idea is it's still a tough hunt. How many times did you phase on it? Because in traditional encounters, you can at least use Cute Charm to make it a lot more common to be male. And the shiny on its own will feel more special as opposed to finding 10 other shinies in the process that don't feel special, you know? But yeah. I just need, like, an idea of why people like traditional encounters and, like, or overworld encounters. And, like, even then, like, the reason I still am, like, argumentative towards you is just, like, those are reasons, yes, but I still feel like the reasons that I have as to why traditional is better still, like, outweighs that by, like, a lot. Like, the main reason I'm seeing from, like, Overworld's better is that it's just more convenient to find stuff easier in general. Which what I love about the Pokemon series is that some things are a challenge to find. And, like, some things, like, when you have an encounter like this White Flower Flabébé that is 1%, like, most people won't find that on a casual playthrough, but some people will. And, like, that would just be, it's just everyone's experience is slightly different. In a game where nothing's rare and nothing is, like, a challenge, like, everyone's got the same stuff and there's nothing unique about your experience playing through the game. Are there any other Pokemon with names that home gets brain damage with other than Mr. Mime? Potentially Ho-Oh, but I didn't risk it. I renamed Ho-Oh before sending it up. Literally said that in the latter half of that comment, my guy. What? What? Said what? I read your point and then, like, had a counter argument for that. So I don't know what you're talking about. Why is 3-segment Dunsparce a thing? Because that's their only way to make something somewhat rare in a game like Scarlet and Violet. You think 8 phases still felt amazing to find him? Yeah, but, like, what about the phases? Did those feel special at all? Because that's kind of my issue. Like, even in a game with, like, traditional encounters, even phasing, like, even if it's not your target, it's still special. And then when you find your target, it's that much more special. That repels didn't exist in early game. Yeah, I said to your point, but I said there's a stream delay. And I said that, like, I was in the middle of saying that when you, like, put that in chat. Like, what I said about repels. There's a stream delay if you didn't realize that. It's not 1-to-1 live. Farfetch, Porygon 2, and Ho-Oh seem to be fine with him. Okay, I didn't check Ho-Oh. Also, I evolved Porygon into Porygon 2 in Gen 8, so that didn't matter. Yeah, I just feel like the only, like, reason people have for liking Overworld is that just because things are easier, things are more convenient, and I just feel like that's not a great argument. You weren't aware of the delays? Yeah, that's just how streams are. Like, you'd have to have the craziest freaking internet, and you'd have to be, like, right next to me to get it, like, 1-to-1 live. Like, any program that's streamed, anything is gonna at least have a 6-second delay. Do you feel like they made some hunts really easy and some really hard on Scarlet and Violet, like the mouses and the Dunsparce? I get what they were going for with those, but I still disagree. I think if you're using max odds, at least for the Dunsparce, it's a little different with Tandem Mouse because you can't just spot them from a mile away. But for the family of 3 Mousehold and, like, the 3-segmented Dunsparce, like, if you're doing max odds, sandwiches, maybe an Outbreak, whatever, a Sparkling Power, Shiny Charm, I don't think it would be that difficult to find them. In a case of, like, an Overworld thing. Like, unless you're doing full odds. And unless it's, like, traditional encounters with boosted rates, I don't think it's that difficult to find it. It's just too much is given to you in Scarlet and Violet with the way the Overworld works in that. What do repels do in Scarlet and Violet anyway? They don't exist. There's no repels in Scarlet and Violet. However people see it, everything is subjective. Your reasons outweigh theirs in your mind, but their mind is in reversed. But like, even after just like the convenience issue, there's still like 500 different reasons I could give as to why traditional is better. Like, mechanically, it works better. Again, like, we were talking about Pokérus earlier. Pokérus can't exist in a game like Scarlet and Violet because you just will never encounter Pokemon unless they're shiny. Like, you'll just never get it. Like, there's so many unique ways they can do shiny hunting methods and stuff in a game where you can't just see everything in front of you right at once. To your points, you just feel that Overworld cuts down the unnecessary encounter times and take away from the game. You hate encountering one Pokemon at a time to find one specific Pokemon. At least in, like, Gen 6, they had horde hunting and stuff. But, like, think about all the different, like, unique things they could do with, like, the traditional encounters. But again, feel like if they did it where, like, honestly, all I'm asking for is just we can't see shinies in the overworld. I think that alone would make it so much different. Like, if, like, I was totally okay with overworld encounters in Sword and Shield. Like, I thought those were really cool. So if they did it something like Sword and Shield, I'd be totally happy. Like, Overworld, but you can't see the shinies. And then, I guess, in the context of Sword and Shield, where you can't see the shinies, it would make sense for them to also have traditional encounters like they did. So have, like, both at the same time. Means you see how many shiny Living Dex videos popped up after Scarlet and Violet? Yeah, because there's no challenge in filling out a full shiny Living Dex if you use like max odds in Scarlet and Violet. You're on the fence about that. On one hand, you love never missing shiny. On the other hand, you hate missing a shiny. So a lot of people, I think it's ridiculous how people thought we're like, oh my gosh, think of all the shinies we're missing because we found out they were generated when they spawned in. The shiny value. I thought that was ridiculous because it's just like, don't worry about it. Like, if you've worried about missing a specific shiny, just hunt for that shiny, you know? And then once you have it, it won't matter if you're missing them. But what they could easily do to counter that is to make it so that the shiny value isn't rolled until you encounter the Pokemon. They do that in Pokemon Go. That's how Pokemon Go works. So that'd be like an easy fix for them to do. I don't know if they would do it, but... If we go back to traditional, then we'd need to change overhaul aspects of the game that was fixed with the convenience of overworld encounters. I'm not talking about shinies. Like what? I feel like most of it would be shinies. And in my opinion, I think they just need to make more effective methods if they go back to traditional encounters. Like, I hate to be that guy, but people really got like spoiled on how easy it is to find shinies in Scarlet and Violet. So give them an option that makes shinies really easy in a game like Sword and Shield or something like that. But it's not fair to people like us who prefer shinies being rare, who are forced to just have shinies be uncommon, you know, because of the way they work. Like, it's just not fair. Like, there's never going to be pleasing anyone, but there's decent ways to go about it. And I think my idea of going back to traditional encounters, or how it was with Sword and Shield, with more effective methods, I think would be the best solution. Those YouTubers wouldn't even want to full odds hunt. Dude, the amount of people the amount of videos I saw of, I found every shiny starter in Scarlet and Violet. And I just like in any other game, that'd be like really crazy and cool. But in Scarlet and Violet, I'm like, I'm not watching this. They're gonna be finding a shiny every 5 minutes. Like, it's not interesting. Like, it's not really a challenge. Like, it's like shiny challenges in like Scarlet and Violet are just like not challenges at all. It's like something you'll do in like an hour or two. You enjoy both, but you will say it feels more realistic or natural to have overworld shinies with no sparkle Then again, the traditional way is fun, also fun its own way. See, I was saying earlier, like, the only reasons people usually give is that it's more realistic or it's just easier to find shinies is why they prefer Overworld. I think both of those are pretty invalid arguments. Like, it's a game about about animals that have magical powers that can attack each other and stuff, like, that you can catch in a small ball. Like, saying that, like, Overworld makes showing shinies in the Overworld makes it more realistic is not, like, a reason as to why it's better. It's just they just can't admit that they just want the shinies to be easier. Like, again, if they had Overworld encounters, but they don't show up shiny in the Overworld, you had to encounter them to see if they're shiny, that'd be totally fine. Finally! Oh my gosh. That took way too long. And now we gotta do it 2 more times with Pumpkaboo. It's gonna be great. Interesting, you never knew about Go, you never played that game. So the only reason we even know about that from Go is because there was an event so long ago for Detective Pikachu, and the Detective Pikachu was shiny locked. Like, you couldn't get it shiny, but what people did, the way you encountered it was you would get a snapshot Pokemon, and it would, like, do a photo bomb, and then after you took, like, a picture of a Pokemon, it would spawn on the map. What people would do is they would spawn their Pikachu on the map, like the detective one, and then they would wait until the event ended, and once the event ended, shiny Pikachu wasn't locked anymore. So they would then click the Pikachu after the event ended, and it had the 1 in, like, 512 chance that it could be shiny. And a couple people got shiny Detective Pikachu that way. And if it worked in the sense where everything about it was generated when it spawns in, that wouldn't be possible. You wouldn't be able to get the shiny Detective Pikachu. So that's how we know that's how it works. Unless it changed at some point, but it probably didn't. Like, it's safe to assume that the shiny value isn't rolled until you initially, like, encounter the Pokemon. All right. Let me save the game. Let me stop recording, because I have an hour and 20-minute recording of just finding 2 Flabébés, which is a bit much. I honestly think the Pokemon Go connection to mainline games is what brought us to where we are now. Maybe, but I think part of it, I don't think it was the connection. I think it was just the idea that they did community days in Pokemon Go just made, like, people just was like, oh, well, shinies have to be easy now. Never heard anyone say this surprisingly, but why didn't they just up the shiny rate by, like, 3 or so when they went to Overworld? You mean, like, lower the shiny rate? I've had a lot of people say that, like they should have made it back to 18192. I don't think that would have made enough of a difference. As someone who's I'm currently 16,000 in on a 1 in 4096 shiny hunt. 1 in 4096 versus 1 in 8192 is barely different. It is the only time it's different, like really different, is when you go extremely over odds, which is not super often. Like, you'll be finding shinies around the same numbers if it's 1 in 4096 versus 1 in 8192. So, I don't know. Like, I don't think that would have made a difference. I think it has to be, like, traditional versus Overworld. Do I prefer 8192 odds? Not, like... I mean, like, I don't want to say no, but I don't really want to say yes. Like, they have a sense of, like, charm to them, but I don't, like, I don't really value them differently from 1 in 4096 shinies, if that's what you're asking. To your point, you think it's very difficult for them to make things feel rare/exciting in overworld scenarios. For example, finding a 1% random encounter in grass feels more exciting than finding an overworld rare spawn like Zoroark in Legends Arceus or something like that. Yeah. Like, even like 5% or something in like Sword and Shield, like, it wasn't hard to find them. To find them shiny, yeah, but not to find them in general. You would not be a shiny hunter if method hunts didn't exist. And yeah, method hunts are great, but in the context of Overworld, where shinies already aren't, like, super rare, having a method hunt on top of them is just, like... Also, they're not really methods in the Overworld games. They're just temporary or permanent shiny boosts. they're not like a thing you have to really do to get your shiny odds to increase. It's just make a sandwich and your shiny odds are just increased for 30 minutes, or go to outbreak, you know? But yeah, like, methods make more sense in a traditional, like, example, like, traditional scenario. You know something you really want to see in a Pokemon game? However, I think we'll never get this. Pokemon fighting on the overworld, but the free ones, not ours. That'd be interesting. I just feel like it allows you to enjoy the game as a whole instead of spending hours upon hours searching for one Pokemon for the dex. Catch the ones you need, skip the ones you don't. You can at least, like, trade and breed, you know? Like, if you're filling out specifically filling out the dex, like, filling out the decks, like, having a fun, like, having, like, something to grind for in a game makes the game more worth playing. Like, if you can complete everything super fast, you're not gonna, like, stick with the game, you know? Like, you're gonna play it after, like, a few hours, you'll be done with it. It's good to have, like, some sort of challenge, and in Pokemon, it's usually completing the Pokedex. And there are ways around making it tedious anyway, even if it's not Overworld. I think with the Detective Pikachu, they were waiting at the encounter screen, not the wild, then went past wild, they caught it. No, I don't think that was it. Because it's already rolled when you encounter it. And that hasn't been a thing in, like, forever, having it, like, change. It was only, like, the early community days that would, like, do that. But if Detective Pikachu was, like, made to be shiny locked, it just wouldn't have been possible even after the midnight thing. All right, I gotta get Pumpkaboo now. Like, I know what route it's on, I just need to make sure I know the encounters. Route 16. We can also get Klefki and Phantom. Need 2 Phantoms. Small size, average size, large size, super size. I think what we'll have to do for these are just catch a bunch of them and then check later. It might be very hard to tell if we're, like, getting them or not. You know? I think that's gonna have to be the trick. Pumpkaboo took you forever to do. I remember the first time I got it really fast, and we did just get, like, awful luck with Flabébé, so maybe I can repel trick this one too. Let's see. I'm gonna go here, it's gonna be easier. It's Route 16 from here. Lumio City is just a bit too confusing to traverse through. Also, I will say, Sfeel, I'm not giving you enough credit about, like, my argument. I think Overworld has a place in Pokemon. It just needs to not be the norm, honestly. Like, it's fine that Scarlet and Violet exists, but I would prefer if not every single game is like that, you know? Like, it'd be nice to, like, mix it up and have, like, Overworld or, like, traditional encounters every now and then, you know? Like, I'm totally fine with, like, Legends Arceus and Let's Go existing as Overworld only, but at the time, in the context of those games, those weren't, like, the norm, you know? Like, it was nice having, like, a game every now and then that was like that, you know? Okay, level 30, it would be a level 36 Repel Trick. Let's see if it's worth doing. It is! It makes it 3%! Nice. We'll have to encounter the other ones first, though. And I have to have my volume on, so hopefully it's not, like, obnoxious. I need to be able to hear the calls, so I can tell. Also, I don't need the Flabébé anymore, actually. What am I doing? I'm trying to pull up OBS. There we go. Okay. Yeah, you get that. You think the Safari Zones is significant? You could spend hours looking for a Kangaskhan and find just says item out. Boom, hours wasted. Yeah, but when you catch it, it's, like, so crazy. There's also ways to make them like more easy to catch. Like that's what I like. I like the hidden mechanics, the like stuff that like, yeah, things are difficult, but like sometimes it's just that's just the challenge of finding them, and you can also breed for them anyway. But it's like that's part of the challenge, and also like there are easier ways to problem solve your way like out of it. But yeah. It's better to have something to grind for that you can make easier, as opposed to having nothing be like a challenge, you know? Does Raikou and NTA show up on the map in Crystal when they start to roam, or do you have to encounter them before they do? I wasn't able to find anything after like a week of searching out jumping. So to release them into Roamer, you have to go to the Burn Tower, and then like there's like a cutscene that plays out that releases them. Then they just go around the map, and you have to like try to find them, but it's really difficult in Gen 2 to find them. There's like a weird mechanic that tries to prevent you from just going back and forth between routes, and it really causes for some like obnoxious things. Why am I always finding these birds, dude? It's gonna be so great when these birds are gone. It's always Zapdos too. Where are the other two? I found Moltres like once. They're not version exclusives, right? I might have found Moltres on X. I didn't realize I had to tap the screen for that. You can use Pokemon with Frisk to see if Pumpkaboo is large side. That one holds an item. Oh, interesting. Well, I can just hear the call, so I'm just gonna have my volume on. The birds depend on your starter. Oh, really? Oh, I thought you just got all of them. Oh, okay, never mind then. I understand you really do. Not trying to say your way sucks and your way superior, just making case of Overworld that isn't me want easy shinies. Yeah, I get that. That's why I think it should. That's why I think they should have Overworld, but not for every game. I feel like the norm should be traditional, and then like Overworld, like for like Legends games and stuff, you know. And who knows? Maybe that's what they're planning on doing. It was just odd going from Legends Arceus to Scarlet and Violet being like a new generation, and then having them be Overworld. Same treatment as the Beast Trio and Fire Leaf Green, yeah, except much worse because you can't get them shiny. Now if the Safari Zone wasn't back then, you had no friends, so trading was an option, so you... Oh, well, I'm talking like modern games. I'm talking modern games, like you can use like NSO to trade online and stuff. I'm not really referring to older games, because it's always been like one way in the older games. I'm in the right spot, right? I'm not in the right spot. Oh, tall grass. Oh my gosh, tall grass. Where the heck am I? Oh my gosh, and of course there's a trainer I never battled. Where's there a map of this place? I need to see where this tall grass is. What do you mean